And hello, Savannah. Thank you for tuning into WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. Hello, everyone. You actually just tuned into Real Estate Real Talk with myself, Julia M. Spencer. And in the studio with me here is Daniil Ivanov, my business partner, and we're going to talk today about our favorite topic, Airbnbs in the summertime.
Happy Wednesday, Savannah.
Happy Wednesday, yay. So we just bicycled here. It's nice out there. It's hot, but yeah,
well,
we're
it's
here.
the first time for me. I'm back on the bike.
Right, but we found my mom's old bicycle in storage, so it took a long time. But it's pretty hot out there. It's not too bad, but you made it, so that's good.
Yep.
Welcome here. But on today's show, actually, we have a couple things we want to talk about. And if you're the first time listener to this show is about real estate and anything and everything related to real estate. We are two local Airbnb hosts here in Savannah, in the Savannah area, not in the city, but
Georgia local. We got
Georgia,
few.
right? We got in other counties too, but specifically here in Chatham. We live here in Chatham County, so we have some rentals in unincorporated Chatham County. Oh my gosh, I can talk about that for an hour. That's still not resolved yet, my people. We're talking still to the Chatham County Department of Revenue to pay our hotel taxes, which were introduced, which, by the way, there's a new development on this. I don't know if you knew this, but I got a message from Airbnb the other day stating that the hotel-motel tax that we have been responsible to collect and pay to the Department of Revenue for the last year, and we didn't even know about this until about March or so, is now going to be collected automatically from Airbnb and paid to Chatham County from them. So as of July 1st, as of tomorrow, we don't have to do this anymore, but we're still trying to debate and figure out what we actually owe for the last year. And at
Which
this
is very
point, I'm still
interesting.
collecting those fees because I gotta pay them for this month and for all the previous months. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I think I made like 3 or 4 videos about this on my YouTube channel. Some of them I haven't even posted yet, so now there's updates to that even yet.
Numerous
and
emails,
hours on the phone, yeah, and a lot of extra gray hairs appearing on my head.
Yep. Had some bad attitudes, apologies, the whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards, yes. And also from my side, actually, I do have to admit I was a little cranky with the officials, and they were with me too, and then we apologized, and that was the circle went all the way around.
Yep. So shout out to them, of course, to to that office. I did promise I'm gonna bring some donuts maybe at some point.
We need
and
to
coffee.
do that. We need to do that.
I think Panera Bread is not far away.
I don't know what's happened with the summer. Like starting all the way since January, we've just been going nonstop. Like 15-hour days for us for me, that's the norm. If I can catch like a nap somewhere in between, I'm good to go, and I'll just keep going until I fall asleep at night.
Yeah, we're not complaining. Business is good.
Business is very good. Yes,
So
absolutely.
that pandemic really, I don't know if it hit anybody. Please, send us the comments how that COVID.
Yeah, how did it impact you? Especially if you're a vacation rental host, we'd love to hear from you. Of course, you can reach me at realestate@juliamspencer.com, but if you Google my name, you can find me and leave me comments, suggestions. I mean, we want to hear from you out there, since we're community radio station, community based and focused show, so we want to hear from you.
Absolutely, we can discuss the topics interested you, because a lot of times we discussing topics what we interested in.
Yeah,
So-
we can talk all day long.
Yeah.
But it has to be relevant to you, so that's important.
But I was thinking today, as you mentioned, we're going to talk about Airbnb. It's a hot season.
Yeah.
It's hot season for not only appliances breaking, guests showing
Air
up,
conditioning breaking. I mean, we have everything going on right
4th
now.
of July
Everything,
coming
all of the
up.
above and more.
Yep. Actually, another thing, we should mention that as well today. Later on, we will discuss about the service animals.
Yeah, let's talk
Which
about
you
service
mentioned.
animals. That just
Yeah.
happened right like minutes before I went to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. So if you're an Airbnb host, and this is a hot topic of debate usually because people want to bring their service animals, which they should be able to bring their service animals to any establishment. If you need a service animal because of a disability, it is the law. The American Disability
Act,
Act,
guess.
I believe is what it's called. There's actually a website, ADA.gov.
Yeah.
And it tells you exactly the regulations and rules and everything. But what do you? Let's look at it from both perspectives because we're looking at it from our side, which we are the providers of accommodations, and then let's look at it from the guest side because I had a lady that asked me just today, if I am friendly to bringing pets, and she has a disability and she's bringing her animal and she has all the documentation, and would I be open to that? So,
Here's the law.
so what do I do? What do I do as a host? You know, I mean, generally all my listings are we don't allow pets, basically, but it is a service animal that's required because of the disability. What is the process to vet that? What are you allowed to ask? What are you not allowed to ask? And how do you maneuver through that forest of being on the right side of the law and also, you know, being accommodating to your guests and not being screwed over because somebody wants to bring, and I quote, a 50-pound pup.
Yeah, 50-pound pup. So what it is,
Yeah.
we don't know. If it's a German Shepherd who has fur everywhere,
Or an
then-
actual 50-pound pup.
yeah. So it's
Or several. We don't know. So this is the thing. It's very, I mean, we're walking a very fine line between protecting our property and making sure that it stays nice for future guests as well. We don't have any repair costs or anything like that because people are careless with their pets, and actually legitimately accommodating people with disabilities, which we should be doing and which we do, and which is the right thing to do.
Yeah, and not breaking the law, obviously. So all of the above. So now, this is how you maneuver between all those fine lines we just discussed, and you have better.
Yeah. So there is federal laws for Americans with disabilities, obviously, that regulate what is a service animal, what is a emotional support animal, and there's a difference, and what things you can ask as a person, as a business that is providing services to the public. And as far as what we're doing here, we really only are allowed to ask two questions. And the first question is the animal, the service animal, if it is a service animal, required because of a disability? That's a yes or no answer, basically. And then the second question would be, what task or job is the animal trained to perform?
Yeah.
That's the only two things you can ask. You can't ask for documentation. You can't ask what's the disability. You can't do anything. You can only ask those two questions.
Yeah, first one is a yes or no, as you said, and second one, the person will need to provide you with the tasks and the duties.
Exactly what
that
the
service
animal is
animals.
supposed to do, and then there's a lot of legitimate causes. You know, some animals are there to prevent or warn for epileptic seizures, for example, or
blind
blind guide dogs. You know,
Yeah.
things like that. That's a legitimate trained work or task that an animal might be trained to do, and these are not pets. These are service animals. So
yeah, this is not your kitty which makes you feel good purring on
Right.
your chest while you're watching TV.
Right,
This is-
exactly. So that's the difference. And so I want to say in the last 10 years or so, and another thing that I want to tell you about this, because I'm not completely clear about this, but this is federal laws, but then there's likely also individual state laws that govern, you know, whether or not you as a business that provides services to the public allows a support animal.
Yeah,
There
and I
might be
was-
different laws. We don't know those local, more
yeah,
local laws.
yeah, because when I was last year I was in California in Oregon. These are the states where a little bit more lenient to creating laws above. I mean, adding the laws to the federal laws. So if you in Georgia, it's not very, you know, in some states, which you know which states you are. Just look at your regulations. It's always nice to no, because those questions come out of nowhere, because not happens every day. But when they do, please be prepared, because you can actually offend somebody or actually got in trouble, or just know what your laws and regulations are. That's perfect.
And I do have to say that 9 times out of 10, the animal that my guests are trying to bring, and bless their heart, it's not a service animal or even an emotional support animal. It's just an animal that they want to bring.
Yeah, and it's once you ask those 2 questions, a lot of times guests will understand that your laws, what you're asking,
Right.
and they just pretty much go away.
Yeah. Well,
And
a lot of
that's sad
times
to
they
say.
basically just say, "Never mind, I'll find another place."
And
Like,
that's
you
sad to
asking me
say,
these
yeah.
questions, never mind, I'll find another place. And that's exactly the answer I got earlier today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not asking anything illegal, and I'm not saying you can't stay there. I'm just asking questions I'm allowed to ask by law. So,
Yeah, and if it's a service dog, absolutely, you're welcome. We accommodate that.
Right,
But
of
if
course.
it's just a pet you're trying to sneak in, I mean, I'm sorry. We
yeah,
just,
yeah. And this is another thing that I was always tell people, is like, service animals, a different story. That's not a pet. We allow those. Everybody should and should anyways by the law. But we have we keep our places pet free, not just for cleanliness and also to keep in good shape, but also because a lot of people have allergies. So if you bring a pet, and we have a no pet policy, and it's not a service animal, it's just a pet, then you are potentially providing a disadvantage to people that are extremely allergic to animal hairs or dander
yeah, it's
in the future. And if we didn't know about this, or if we not aware of who or what is staying at our places, we can't even accommodate the future guests or even make accommodations to clean properly. So
Yeah.
this makes it very difficult for a lot of people. So what I'm saying with all of this, if you have an animal that's a service animal, legitimately service animal, that's trained to do something very specific for you because you have a disability, then of course you should be welcome anywhere, and that's the law. But if you are trying to sneak an animal in as a service animal or a pet, basically,
yeah.
then honestly, kind of, my opinion is shame on you, because you're really disadvantaging the people that legitimately have disabilities.
Absolutely. And then another thing I want to add, the allergies, this is a big no-no. My sister-in-law in Germany, she's very allergic. I mean, if the cat shows up 10 feet away from her, that's it. I mean, it's just bad. But also, we do have some properties with a backyard. Some people don't control their animals a lot of times to let it out. Neighborhood, it can be a family neighborhood with the kids. It can be other animals around, which that animal being put in a situation in a new environment, and nobody wants to be responsible for something happens to an animal because another dog bit the cat, or the cat runs away, or a dog runs away, or somebody runs over, the car runs over some pet, and it's just not right. So
Yeah, exactly. That was our story on service animals and what you can and can't do. Now, if you have any comments or know anything different about the state laws in the state of Georgia, we
or
welcome
even other
you.
states will be
Or
interested
other
to
states,
hear.
we want to know. We want to know. So my information comes from the ADA.gov website, and that's what I've always used because I want to stay within the law. I'm actually not even quite sure what Airbnb's regulation is on
Well,
making
let's
us
do this.
get
Let's
animals.
research it. We'll research it and put it with this on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll just put a little link
Put a
or
link,
something.
yeah.
I've read it once before, and I believe that it's Airbnb's policy to make hosts accommodate service guests with service animals for sure, but also with emotional support pets. But I don't know. We're getting into a gray zone of laws there where laws kind of conflict. So I don't know how that would go.
Well, we'll put the link of ADA.org.
A-
I mean,
a-
.gov, I'm sorry.
Right.
And then we'll search Airbnb. If we have something, we'll put the link on that.
Exactly, yeah.
And if your listeners have something else, or if somebody's a lawyer sitting up there knowing what we're talking about, knowing more that what we're talking about, please send it. We'll link something else. We'll
And I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, and Facebook's gotten some bad rep here recently. But I actually like Facebook for the fact that there's communities out there where people come together with the same kind of interest or same kind of business maybe or something, and they share their stories. So very recently, even though I've been doing this for so long, I've gotten on a Airbnb, like a venting site or something, where people just vent about their guests or ask for advice. And there's
funny stories.
There's some interesting stories. So if you want some entertainment, I should say, of real life stories, you can probably make a video show about this, or like a sitcom.
Oh, the stand-up. Okay, if you're a stand-up comedian,
what was it that I saw there last? The lady. The host, these are the hosts posting these stories, obviously, and they said this lady stayed at her place and mistook her shotgun for the flashlight in the middle of the night and shot a hole in the wall.
Oh, yes, it was something.
And she posted pictures, there's definitely a hole in the wall.
I want to know what she was drinking, because mistaking flashlight for a shotgun, that's a good one.
Right. There was just one today, I think. The lady came to the house. The owner came to the house, and the lady that was staying there just dumped a big pile, basically, of empty drug bottles, medication, prescription, and just like a pile. Like she, I don't know what she did. Raided a couple people's medicine cabinets. I don't know. And she's like, "What should I do? Should I let her stay, or should I make her leave?" And I'm like, man, that's just some weird stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But we do have a couple other things. That was on the disability. That's what we just experienced today with the service animals. But I think should be I in about an hour.
Yeah, we're getting close to the half point here, so let's just play some music and we'll be right back. We're kind of chill today.
Yeah, but we can talk about that we're just dealing with one of the counties with a trash situation.
Yeah, let's talk about that. We have a code violation complaint, and it's not Chatham County, it's a different county. So we can talk about that right after this break here. So let's just do that. And then we have a couple announcements at the bottom of the hour as well. Just in case you're wondering what you're listening to, you are listening to Real Estate Real Talk with Julia M. Spencer and Daniil Ivanov. And our show is about anything and everything related to real estate investing. And you're listening to WRUOP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Do you own a small business? Do you want to get your message out to a dedicated, loyal, and active audience? Then make WRUU part of your company's marketing strategy. Our listeners aren't just passively listening to us in the background. When your company underwrites with WRUU, you're getting their attention. And you're also supporting Savannah's only community radio station. It's an act of both self-interest and community spirit. Connect your brand with WRUU's passion, spunk, and hyper-local focus by choosing an underwriting package that fits your company's budget. Email underwriting@wruu.org for more information.
The Unitarian Universalist Church of Savannah's Music Alliance presents All Things Must Pass, a celebration of Global Beatles Day. This is a live concert featuring favorite tunes by the Fab Four on Saturday, June 26th at 7 p.m. at the Georgia Southern Armstrong Campus Fine Arts Auditorium. Seating will be socially distanced per current guidelines for the auditorium. Tickets available at www.eventbrite.com and at the door. Masks have been shown to reduce infection. So if you are not fully vaccinated, if you have symptoms of COVID-19 or have tested positive, it is important for you to wear a mask at all times you are in public places. Masks for everyone are still required on public transportation, in hospitals, in prisons, in homeless facilities, and other institutional settings. For more information, contact www.cdc.gov.
The Live Oak Public Library System offers local residents access to hundreds of thousands of movies, television programs, albums, audiobooks, ebooks, and digital comic books for free on your streaming television and mobile devices through the Hoopla app. Supported devices include Roku, Fire, Apple TV, iPhone, and Android, among others. The selection is vast. All you'll need is your library card. Find the Hoopla app on your device and more information at liveoakpl.org.
And hello, we're back here with Real Estate Real Talk on WRUULP. My name's Julia M. Spencer. In the studio here with me is Daniil Ivanov. Hello, Savannah.
Hey, happy Wednesday again.
Yeah, we're still here. So in the first segment, we talked about service animals and what you can and cannot ask as an Airbnb host or a short-term vacation rental host, or even the hotel or any business of people that have service animals and want to bring them on your premises. So, but in the second part here, we want to talk about this code violation that we got in our house in Atlanta, because we also have one in Rockdale County, right?
Yeah. Conyers, Covington, Rockdale County.
Right,
area. Yeah.
right. And so we got a message from one of our guests stating that code compliance came by. And this is really weird because your house sits on 1.5 acres. It's not a small lot. The house is way set back. You can't really even see it from the street much.
Yeah.
And it's a wooded area. It's very dark at night. There's no street lights or anything. It's deep in suburbia of Atlanta.
It's almost like a forest cabin.
It's what it looks like, a forest cabin. And so for somebody to actually call in a code compliance violation is just odd.
It's very odd because that area is it's a family oriented neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
All the houses, pretty much, a majority of them have pools, and they separate like 50 to 100 yards from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Big lots. Even if you see a police officer in that area, that's, the whole neighborhood talks about it, like what happened, because nothing really happens up there.
Right.
So it was very weird. The guest called and got a ticket. Well, it's not really a citation. It was more like a warning. It's a big red type of ticket, which was hanging on the door with the name of the officer. Mm-hmm. And pretty much said there was a violation of the trash being on the street. Mm-hmm. And obviously me not being there, so I needed confirmation, because you cannot make a decision of just what the guest's saying. You got to talk to everybody. So I ended up calling the officer next day, and the officer stated that the trash been not removed from the street, which is a pickup every Wednesday, which is today. I need to follow up on that. And the trash haven't been picked up, and the trash flying around the street. And of course, the officer didn't say that one of the neighbors called and complained, which we'll discuss that too in a minute, what you need to watch out for. Yeah. So these are the steps we took to handle that situation. Obviously, I heard the guest story, the guest saying that they didn't do anything. Of course, I cannot blame them because I don't know. I haven't been there. Then I talked to the officer, actually find out what exactly he saw, what the problem is. And then I called the waste management company, find out why, as they saying trash haven't been picked up, which I did get the email, stated that they did pick it up week before. So that might be a lie from somebody
isn't telling the truth.
Yeah, and you cannot really fight with the officer on that because they are the law. So all I did is I promised him that by Friday everything's going to be handled. Today I'm going to follow up with the waste management company again, that the truck did pick up the trash, and follow up with the guest that once the container's been picked up, they need to move it from the street back towards the house so the container's not just flying around. And as well, I asked the guest to take pictures of if the trash haven't been picked up, take the pictures of that, and if the trash been picked up, move it out of the street and take pictures that by my mailbox there is no trash. So I will have some leg to stand on when I'm going to talk to the officer again when I follow up.
Right.
So this is what, and I think Julia have a little bit more experiencing it to explain how important it is to make the friends with the neighbors
Yeah. Yeah.
and how to work with them. So
Yeah.
you want to take over on that one?
Yeah, so at this point, I don't think there is any regulation in that county for short-term vacation rentals outside any kind of city limits, and you're definitely not in any kind of city limits. You're unincorporated county, right?
Yeah.
So this county doesn't have any, as far as I know, anyways. And one of the first things I think the officer asked you is this an Airbnb?
Yes. So he did ask me that, and let's say I didn't lie, but I didn't say the whole truth because I
Yeah.
didn't know why that question.
Yeah,
popped
that's
up.
a weird question, but that question coming from a police officer just begs me to think that one of the neighbors has an issue, because first off, nobody calls any code violations because nobody can even see anybody else's property unless you physically
Walk
go
to
for
it.
half a mile to get there. And then we have, I mean, obviously the house right next door is there was a divorce situation and your friend moved out,
Yeah.
which was the male partner, but the lady still lives there. So I'm guessing that maybe because you've stayed friends with the wrong party,
I guess so. That might be
that
where
might be
we're
an
at.
issue. Yeah, the lady next door. Well, we're not blaming anybody. It could be somebody else too, but I'm just saying, it's like you don't actually find these things unless you're looking for them.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to say that somebody neighbor is just, giving me a bad rap because of situation happened that I'm friend with a divorce couple or whatever it is. You cannot get to the truth because the officer's saying one thing and here's the law. Whoever called in, you cannot talk to that neighbor because no way officer will let you know who called on you.
But
And the guest, I don't know
I
how.
don't know if you can get a police report or something. But they don't file a police report
It's
unless
not the
there's
police.
actually a crime, right?
Yeah, because that's not. It actually was a warning. It wasn't because they gave us 7 days to fix the problem. So it's not citation. If it's a citation, I think you can get more into it. But the main thing, what we're trying also to say was the neighbors, because at some of us properties on the Whitmarsh, you have few good advices how to get the neighbors
Well-
on your side.
Well, I've been doing Airbnbs there on Whitmarsh Island for many, many years. And in the beginning, there was, of course, no regulation here in Chatham County either. This is a recent thing where they request you to have licenses and pay taxes and all this stuff. So this is recent. But prior to that, we were for a long time, I want to say like 6 or 7 years, in the gray zone of regulations, where we kind of weren't in a zone for running a short-term vacation rental, but we were doing that, but there was no regulation against it, but not really anything that specifically said you could do it. So my fear was for the longest time that my neighbors would be calling all kinds of crap on me, basically, because of all kinds of things happening. And my things were a little bit more serious. There would be partiers coming into town,
Yeah,
passing
especially
out
as
drunk in the front yard. I mean, there
St.
was some
Patrick's Day,
St.
4th
Patrick's
of
Day,
July.
4th of July, all the holidays, Labor Day weekend. I mean, we had some serious problems, and there was everything you can think of, like trash knocked over and noise violations. I mean, we've had
Cars
everything.
blocking the whole neighborhood because
Cars
it's
blocking
20
the
cars.
driveways,
Yeah.
right? And we've learned from all of this. Of course, we have house rules now. We do vet our guests. We make sure, but for the longest time, one of my main things was not just to keep the guests happy, which was of course a priority because they pay my bills, but also my neighbors. And some neighbors were accommodating, and others were not. There was specifically there was a lady that lived across the street. She would get drunk and sit on the front by the front door on the steps and just yell at me from the other side of the street. And she was a tenant. She wasn't even an owner. She was a tenant in that neighborhood, and she felt like she was important, I guess. And and I tried to talk to everybody and tried to be nice and accommodate, and I bent over backwards. And at this point, I'm actually quite glad that Chatham County started to have short-term vacation rentals in unincorporated Chatham County regulated, where we have to get licenses, we have to pay the taxes, everything runs according to how it should run. And if neighbors complain now, I'm like, look, I got a license, I'm paying the taxes, I'm cutting my grass, I'm not looking at your yard, so leave me alone, let me do what I need to do. I'm taking care of noise if there's any issues, I'm taking care of the trash. My property is actually maintained much better than most of the other neighbors' properties, because that's what we do for a living.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So,
Because we have people coming in cutting the grass every other week automatically everywhere. The trash is all an automatic pickup. We have the
we have cleaners that come clean inside. We don't let any pest problems get
No.
too far because we can't. We have to maintain our
we
property.
got tree cutters, we got roofers, we got I mean you name it, we got everything,
Right,
and it's
right.
working perfectly. You remember that again, not naming any, it wasn't Whitmarsh as well. You remember the complaint from the guest where I had to go and pressure wash the house.
Oh yeah, the neighbor complained that they saw a little green mold on the siding on the front right side next to the front door.
And
of
it
our
came
house.
from the grass cutter. When he cuts the
Yeah.
grass, just a little bit debris flew in.
I'm like, you're just kidding me, right?
So, and then she made the big deal about how she invested on her property, and now her property losing the value because this house is no pressure washed. And it was literally a little bit of the green grass, which
Yeah.
I washed off without even pressure washer.
No,
I just
you use the hose.
hose and just a brush. But then she had like 2 mattresses
That was
sitting
sitting
up front in
in
her
the-
yard for
and-
like months.
And it was raining. They were nasty, and then they had cars parked whichever way. I mean,
blocking our
everything.
driveway.
Yeah. And so I
yeah.
decided, this is what we decided to do. We're like, okay, we're gonna be quiet. We're gonna just take care of what we need to take care of, and let's start taking pictures. Because if this ever comes back to me, I'm like, okay, on this date, mattresses. On this date, cars blocking. On this date, whatever.
Whatever you can see, yeah, because I mean they have a parties as well, but they blaming only the parties on the Airbnb host.
Yeah.
But when we have a neighbor with the rooster who woke
my
up the whole
God.
neighborhood, we didn't complain about it, but
So
that was a problem.
unincorporated county apparently has no regulations on people keeping roosters as pets.
Yeah,
Just
that was-
let that sink in here for a moment, my dear listeners. You're allowed to have a pet in your backyard in unincorporated Chatham County for a rooster pet.
Yeah,
And,
and
and
imagine
he-
you on a vacation, you went for a few drinks, you're staying late, and 5 a.m., here he goes. Wake up call. But what also Julia didn't mention, I think, this is how we kept the neighbors happy. One of the things, how to keep them happy. Obviously, be nice to your neighbors, know your neighbors. That's always nice. Secondary, we've done a few things. There was in one of the properties we have like a common area of the grass. It's like a runabout, whatever.
Roundabout, yeah, it's like a cul-de-sac.
Yeah. So and everybody's supposed to take turns to cut it. But we spent a little bit extra money in asking our grass person to actually cut it for everybody, and we did it for years. And another thing, if you look around, if you know your neighbors, a lot of neighbors, especially here in the South or in the state of Georgia or the South, either or, have their own businesses. Somebody's a pressure washer, somebody's cutting the grass, somebody's a painter,
Babysitters.
babysitters, dog walkers, whatever it is. Use them. Use your neighbors. Give them a little bit. Instead of getting somebody from a different county or some big company to cut your grass, pay your neighbor to cut your grass every 2 weeks. Or we have a person who pressure washes the house. It's our neighbor.
We have a pressure washer, but we use him because he's our neighbor.
Yeah, and it's nice. He gets paid a little bit, and he's cool with you. Why not just use your, I don't know.
So it's kind of keeping the neighborhood going, community going. It kind of generates goodwill and
Yeah, and we have police officers, firefighters living around, doctors. We do have a neighbor who is a little bit iffy. He's a dog, but still kudos to him. Thank you very much for what he's doing. But we're still trying to keep everybody happy. I mean, whatever we can do.
yeah, and then so it's I mean, it's
It's
a
a give and take.
community. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
give and take thing. It's community, and that's kind of like how you can keep the neighbors happy. Now, granted, to say whatever you do, there's still going to be some neighbors that will never leave you alone because they have no life or just not happy with themselves and
Or like they think they're the police of the they belong. That's their
right.
neighborhood. Like
And it's,
everybody.
you know,
has
they
this.
have to set an example and all this stuff. So
But they watch for your house. We also, that's another good thing. Once you're in your good I guess in a good graces with your neighbors, we travel a lot. These are the people who are gonna watch for your house. They're gonna report to you if there is a problem. Yeah, we're about to go back to Mexico for a minute.
just for a minute.
But this is good because if something going on, before your neighbor is gonna make a call to a police or to authorities, and then you got to get involved. You got to deal with it. They're going to call you first and say, hey, something is going on, then we can handle it before.
Yeah, exactly. Because some of the regulations in Chatham County is that you can't have more than 3
I thought
complaints or
a year.
2 reports or something, then your license might be
Pulled.
questionable,
Yeah.
pulled or something. You know, there's some regulation, some ordinance on that. So thankfully we haven't had to deal with that yet, but we're also very careful with our guests. So, and we've learned over the years that which guests we need to watch out for. So we know how to identify the party groups. We know how to identify the individuals who are there to basically freeload because they come to a place, they pay a lot of money, they don't say anything, and then after like 4 or 5 days stay, they're like, oh, your place was dirty. And I'm like, you've been there for 4 days, you're telling me this now? Like, it's a little bit too late to tell me this. Like, how do I not know that you did it? That you did whatever it is that you say was not clean to begin with. So, and that brings us actually to our next topic right there. So, in the South, or especially here in Savannah, we have an explosion right now of people wanting to go on vacation. People that might not have traveled in a long time and can possibly still not even travel to far
Other
away
countries,
places,
yeah.
other countries. So they're like, okay, what's the nearest beach? For Atlanta, for example, the nearest beach is Hilton Head, Savannah, and we're flooded basically with guests right now. You want something? Like I had a neighbor ask me, do you have anything for the 4th of July weekend?
And he asked us on Monday.
He asked us on Monday. I'm like, I'm just so sorry. There's nothing, like not for 3 months.
Yeah, and you gotta watch out. It's a 4th of July as well. So yeah, that's it. It's good. We do have what I wanted to say something about this topic today. I'm not saying it's a war between the host and the consumer or the guest. It's actually, but at the same time,
It's demand and supply and demand.
Yeah, it's supply and demand. So you as a host, yeah, we're trying to accommodate. We're trying to do maximum we can to get our guests happy and come back because this is how we make money. That's how we double the business. You get the guests second time through the door. So at this, by saying that, know that you as a host right now, it's a very hot season. Savannah is full. Well, we're talking about, let's say, Savannah. It's 4th of July weekend. Prices are skyrocketing in the hotels. If somebody doesn't like something, and if it's
And there's a legitimate
if it's a
complaints.
legitimate complaint, yeah, because if it is, we already know about it. We will fix it. We will do it. You will do maximum where we can. We'll give. We'll pay for it. But majority of time, what happens is the guest is trying to get. Not all the guests, but what we learn of our experience, people try to get the money because the price is so high right now.
Right.
They try to get some money back, but we're not Hilton Head Hotel or whatnot. I'm not just giving because you don't like the color of my walls in the kitchen.
Yeah, I didn't like your sheets, so I went and bought from Walmart all new sheets, and I'm gonna send you the bill. This is not a joke. I've had this happen before.
Well, we did numerous times. I mean, we have no problem if it's really legitimate. Something, let's say the blanket was ripped. Just give me a call. I will overnight it through Amazon. But don't agree that they're gonna go buy something. They're gonna buy extra TV because they need extra TV in the room, and I gotta pay for it. No, it's not happening.
No.
And so know that you can, especially in this market right now, you can always say, hey, if you don't like it, if it's so bad for you, go somewhere else. I'll give you the money back.
Oh yeah.
Because within an hour, maybe 2 tops, you're gonna pretty much you're gonna reschedule somebody else. You go and get your guest. There is nothing right now available. You went and
There's
researched
nothing available, even not even on the high-end prices in Savannah. I don't know if it is because people are actually cracking down on people with not having any licenses doing Airbnbs here in the county. I don't know, but we're licensed, and so it seems like whenever I do a search, nothing pops up.
Yeah,
all.
but we rebooking as soon as if somebody moves out, we rebooking, we churn it, we're flipping it, people there. And on that note as well, Julia mentioned how we watch out for your red flagged guests. We just had to turn away a guest. Let's say we knew it is a couple young men. They're in the military. And
Well, we haven't turned them away yet. They're still debating, but they want a different accommodation. We have a minimum stay of 3 nights right now.
And they wanted just
wanted
Saturday and
2
Sunday, right?
Or 1 or 2, yeah, Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, that's all they wanted. And
Which
it's like,
the only red flag I would say, if there's young people in the military, it looks like they just want to come in and party for 4th of July.
And a lot of times, I mean, those kinds of guests, I do accept them because a lot of times they're just fine.
Yeah.
And those guests you just never know. But,
Yeah, it's a 50-50, so...
Yeah, but let me tell you about this group that came a couple months ago. And I was already kind of worried about it because she asked a lot of questions.
That's when I was in Mexico when she woke me up.
She asked a lot of questions and things that normally you wouldn't ask.
Yeah.
Like very detailed questions about the house and everything. And I answered everything. And I was like, let me just meet him in person.
Didn't she ask for electrical fryer or something? She was asking
Yeah, she was asking for
about
odd
dish-
things and dishes or some, I don't know. She was trying to do some sort of get together. Anyway, so I was able to answer, probably not according to what she wanted to hear because some of the stuff I didn't have. And I just basically said, well, you need something extra that I don't have. You may need to bring it, but there's also a Walmart close by and things like that. So anyway, she woke you up in the middle of the night because you were in Mexico.
Yeah.
And the phone calls go to you. And I don't know, you guys got into an argument and she cursed you out and everything. And then you called me and you said, get her out of there. It was like 11 p.m. or something like that.
But what was interesting, you were checking her in. You actually, we usually don't do it. We have electric locks everywhere.
Right.
But this time, because we already knew the guest's going to be very, needy. So Julia herself actually met her earlier, right? We checked her in at 3.
I checked her in earlier. She wanted to come early, and I checked her in person.
And there was no problems until 11 o'clock. So we're talking about from 3 to 11. We're talking about 8 hours, people already in the building. And it's a Friday night.
And there was a lot of people there, too. It was booked for 3 people. There was like 7 or 8 people there.
Yeah. And
the first thing I said when I went there, because you told me to go there, is like, how many people are here? Because there were only 3 are booked. Like if at 11 p.m., well, they could be visiting, but
here's the thing, we do have outside cameras, and for one of the reasons, and that's another reason too, because she was saying that nobody's staying up there. It's only for 2 people. 3-bedroom house for 2 people, and there is like 8 or like 10 people in there. And when you ask her how many people actually staying, they say, oh, it's only 2 of us, there's people just visiting. But then when we went through we checked the cameras, these people were actually unloading luggages from all of those vehicles.
And they were still there at 4 a.m, all those cars.
Yeah, so this is how we
weird.
This is how you can turn the bad situation for a good situation, and Julia probably would be the best at this because she was actually handling it. Because I couldn't do anything from Mexico. All I had to do is call Julia and be like, I don't want to talk to this lady. Just like, I'm done.
Right. Yeah, so what happened is he called me and I went there with my son, and at this time, I'm already half asleep. It's 11 o'clock. I'm like, whatever, I'm chill.
And it was a big weekend, too, I think. It was somewhere in May, wasn't it?
No, actually, that was the weirdest thing. It was in May, I believe, but it was not any kind of weird. It was a weird weekend because there was nothing available. It's one of those weekends.
Was it Orange Crush, or how was it called?
No,
wasn't that?
No, we didn't even have that this year. But there was something going on in town where everything was taken, and the nearest, cheapest place was like $800 a night.
That's right. Yeah.
And she stayed for 3 or 4 nights for $800. I mean, she didn't pay that much compared to what was available or not available. And I remember, and I talked to her and I said, you know what? If you want to leave, I'll give you your money back, because apparently she was complaining about the stove being dirty, and then she found a bug somewhere or something, you know, I mean, just little things, not anything major. And my son was there, so I'm trying to be a good example to my son, taking it very professional. I'm like, okay, you know, if you don't like it, I mean, if you want to go to another place, I'll gladly refund you. You stay for tonight and all your rest of your nights. And if just let me know when you can leave. I'll just sit outside in the car, and that way I can, you know, check everything over and then lock the door when you're gone. And
she called
and
Airbnb,
she's like, okay,
right?
and she called. No, I called Airbnb, and I was on the phone with Airbnb, and she went inside and was like, okay, I'm gonna leave now. She was really angry, so she walked inside, and I'm presuming she's packing, and I'm sitting outside in the car on the phone on hold with Airbnb, and she comes running outside. This was like 3 minutes later. She comes running outside, and completely changed person, like from day to night, or night to day. She 180 turnaround. Oh, you don't have to call Airbnb. Everything's okay. We're fine. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to be so rude. You know, no worries. We'll just stay, and we won't complain about anything. It was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, and it was, you know, she got me upset all the way in Mexico. We had to get Julia off the bed, coming up there. Her son, of course, you know, who's a teenager, asleep half of the time.
Yeah, she was awake.
And then when we showed her that that's the option,
yeah,
we'll return the money, not a problem. But she will be on the street unless she's gonna pay $1,000. I mean, I don't even know.
It was $800 a night.
Go to the hotel.
That's all that's the next nearest, cheapest place. And she realized that. She did a quick search probably on her phone. She's like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
You know, what are we going to do now? Because we're in the street, or else we pay like another $2,000 for the next couple of nights. So she's like, let me just talk to this lady. And so.
Because a lot of guests, they don't realize Airbnb or the vacation rentals, whatever company you're using, we're mostly using Airbnb. A lot of guests don't realize this is not the hotel. This is not the huge company with the insurance. Yeah, we have insurance and everything, but this is your home. You're inviting people in your house. So the rules are different for what you can get away with or what you can do. So please, I'm not saying that guests are bad. Obviously, you know, this is what pays our bills. We love them. We want them come back. But you do have this bad, you know, like a bad guest. Like, well, I'm not saying bad guest, but trouble, needy guest, or who's trying to squeeze you out of your money or anything like that.
Just be reasonable as a guest and as a host. That's
yeah,
all.
just communicate and talk, because situation happens. We have air conditioner went down one of the units yesterday. I cannot get the tech there probably for a couple days, but it's 100 degrees outside. Thank goodness we have the window units.
Yeah, we got.
I apologize to guests. I went up there directly first thing in the morning, installed 5 of them on the windows. They happy and everything. Tech is coming tomorrow. And the guests being understanding, because we had a storm on Monday when we flew back. You barely made it from New York, right?
Yep.
So looks like the lightning hit air conditioner. I'm not God. I don't know.
Right.
Situation
Who knows?
happens, and the guest was understanding because I fixed everything. So, but that's my kind of my say so at the end. So we're saying goodbye and getting back.
Yeah, we're about at 1 o'clock, so we got to get off. I can talk forever. But anyways, the moral of the story is just know if you're going on vacation somewhere right now this summer, specifically here in Savannah, or really any hot vacation spot, that it's a different story than what it was from like a year or 2 years ago. So there is very little supply and very high demand. So of course, you know, you need to complain if there's an issue, but like be reasonable, because you're going to be the one suffering. Right now we are not suffering for customers or guests, so we do the best that we can, but our places will be full whether you stay there or not. Basically, not saying that we don't welcome you, but just be a good guest, because we try our best, and you know, be reasonable, be a nice person, please.
Yeah, well,
Please.
in any way, just be happy.
Be happy. You know, you're at the beach. You don't need to complain. Leave that stuff at home. This is to chill. So, anyways. All right, good. So we're at the end of our show. This was Real Estate Real Talk with Julia M. Spencer and Neil Ivanov, my business partner. You were listening to WRUU. We're going to play another song here at the end. Actually, after this, it's going to be a couple of really cool songs. So this is good stuff I see on my playlist here. So you should maybe stay on and check this out. French Cafe. What do we got? World music, traditional Asian, some cool stuff. Anyways.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in this show, it is recorded. It is usually broadcast live on Wednesdays at noon here in Savannah on 107.5. Recorded shows, you can catch them on my YouTube channel. It's just my name, Julia M. Spencer. Also on the WRU.org website under archives, and just go to Wednesday down to the noon slot. You'll see me. And hope you all have an amazing, amazing Wednesday afternoon and a great week. We'll talk to you again next week.
Bye, Savannah.
Bye-bye.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.